tourism, better known as Seichijunrei, which means holy pilgrimage, is the act of traveling to a location holding sacred meaning to a particular media. It can be novels, songs, manga, games, or, in this case, anime. Many series reference locations or use them as backdrops to tell their story. In this way, they are preserving the memory of the media and the location together. By coloring over photographs from the actual locations, the artists capture that moment with the story playing out. My first experience of this awe-inspiring event is when I read Halloween Pajama, which had a chapter set in Seattle. The author recreated locations that I have visited before in a different medium with painstaking detail that I hunted them down for a video. Anime tourism displays the importance of characters residing in a realized world much like our own, and allows fans to venture to those places to connect both our worlds. Which is why when I traveled to Japan for the first time, I knew I had to do my own pilgrimage. Although I could visit famous locations many TikToks and shorts have shared, I thought I would explore lesser known series and locations, meaning anime I have made videos on. All of these you see here are fair game. So, if you came here expecting a discussion on anime tourists, you've come to the wrong place. I feel the term has been hijacked, especially considering there is an actual anime tourism organization that publishes maps yearly alongside collaborative merch featuring their brand. So I do not think people labeling others as tourists helps in that regard, but nonetheless, I traveled to Japan to become an anime tourist. We start out at any anime fan's paradise, Akihabara. Immediately outside the train station is UDX, which houses Love Life School Idol Project's rival school idol group, A-Rise. The UDX building is an event center, which was being held with these statues outside when I went. I'll continue the Love Life train with our next stop, Kanda Myojin Shrine. Appearing as a sacred spot in the series, the shrine is infamous due to Nozomi being its shrine maiden, and a training location of Muse. The shrine serves a few gods representing prosperity, where guests pray to them for good wealth. They aren't the only ones praying, as fans visit to show their respect to the series, both in reality and the anime, such as in the sequel series Love Live Sunshine, where Aqua and Saint Snow visit to pay their respects. To the east of the shrine is a staircase that Muse uses to train. As a fan, I had to run up and down them myself. However, this isn't the only anime that features the shrine. Night Wizard the animation transforms it into Kime Private Academy, where our heroic party attends until they're called on to their next mission. Not only that, immediately down the staircase is Tokyo Times Tower, where Alice lives by herself in the series. If you thought it was a news building like me, I wouldn't blame you, but it is actually an apartment building for the wealthy. This contextualizes Alice's character as having everything made for her by living in a luxurious apartment with her school a couple streets over. I'm not going to call her a Mary Sue, but she does roll nat 20s most of the time, especially considering Night Wizard is based off a tabletop RPG. Next on our tour is Akihabara itself. While many anime reference visiting stores, the one I am showcasing is 16-bit Sensation Another Layer. The protagonist Konoha loves visual novels where she visits famous stores such as Animate and Radio Kaikon. The former is the largest anime goods retailer in Japan, while the latter is the first high-rise building to be built in Akiba, and served as the host to buy parts for Japanese PCs in the early technological age. With so many locations around here, you may find yourself lost like Konoha and stumble upon a shrine. Just across the Kanda River is Yanagimori Shrine, where Konoha prays to the gods for help. Funnily enough, this shrine is originally dedicated to a tanuki that greets visitors at the start, but later added inari that appear in the anime. Across Tokyo Bay is Japan's man-made island, Odaiba. Created as a futuristic cityscape, it contains unique architecture and rising shopping centers overlooking Tokyo itself. To traverse onto the island, one must go over Rainbow Bridge, named by locals due to its outlook for the future. It lights up with various colors, which I saw as I traveled from Haneda Airport to my hotel. It appears many times throughout the Love Live Nijigasaki School Idol Club series, relying on a theme of connection, which bridges famously do. Not only that, it appears in the mobile game Baton Relay as the final shot of the opening. After leaving Odaiba Station, I was greeted with Fuji TV Tower. While it makes brief appearances in Nijigasaki, many people know it from an anime that Fuji TV itself broadcasted, Digimon Adventure. Fans label August 1st as Odaiba Memorial Day due to the kids going to summer camp on that day and thus the digital world. And then Tai's quick return reveals time hasn't changed, where when all the Digidestined later return, a battle unfolds over Fuji TV Tower, coincidentally on my birthday, August 2nd. I grew up as someone who loved both Pokemon and Digimon, so being somewhere I saw as a kid is monumental. South of Fuji TV Tower is the West Promenade, a large open walkway. It appears multiple times in Nijigasaki, but, again, in Baton Relay. Many of the shots are during the night with the round lampposts, but I went in the day so I couldn't recreate them perfectly. Thankfully, there is something that appears during the day, which is Mew's third single, Natsuiro Egalde 1-2 Jump. The music video is shot at the West Promenade where you can get angles from both sides, including shots of the telecom center building in the distance. Now, each end leads to tall, iconic figures. The north end enshrines the Statue of Liberty, a replica emphasizing Japan's relationship with France, not the United States. She appears a couple of times in Nijigasaki. Southwards is her big brother, the Unicorn Gundam. While I can obviously say it's a tribute to Gundam, the statue does appear in Nijigasaki since the studio that animates Love Live also does Gundam. But the moment I came here for, immediately to the right of the statue is the staircase where Setsuna first performs Chase that would ignite Yu and Ayumi's passion for school idols. Setsuna is my favorite, so visiting her first live show from the anime is iconic. Nearby is the central square where many people gather and relax. Several scenes in the anime feature this area due to the proximity to many locations and serves as a connection to them. One such location is Diver City, a multi-floor mall housing many attractions. On the top floor is Round 1, which the girls of Nijigasaki visit in the second season. When I went in, it had a gamer collab with these standees nearby. Now, we travel to a location so infamous. Many people crowd roads hoping to relive an incident where multiple personalities clash on the urban streets of Tokyo. That's right, we're in Shibuya, and I'm talking about Oretachi ni Tsubasa wa Nai, also known as We Without Wings. The series is set in Akihabara, where much of the urban styling with graffiti and city slicks is inspired by Shibuya. We can see this in the opening shot of the visual novel on Shibuya Skywalk, where our flightless bird encounters Asuka before walking away. Even though there is countless construction nearby, it is nice to see this spot remains. Just below is the infamous Shibuya Scramble Crossing, which appears in the anime's opening where our four heroines are searching for their respective prince in the crowd. Additionally, Myself Yourself's opening references a specific area with Sana standing in the crosswalk in front of what people call the world's most famous Starbucks. While I did visit the day after Halloween, you can still see signs calling for no party in the streets nearby. Continuing our anime pilgrimage is Gujobu. While it is set in a fictional city, at a fictional school, in a fictional club room, they sometimes travel outside to expand the world. This is best seen in the finale OVA, Gujobu At, where they travel to New York. Wait, that's the wrong area. Further west of Tokyo is the city of Chofu, where the characters visit in the second half of the OVA. This is a nice, quiet residential neighborhood area, with a shrine nearby that leads to Higashi Chofu Park, where Kyoto and Mao try to rekindle their relationship. The staff added some playground equipment that isn't in the park, but you can see this is the area where they sat on the seesaw together. It made me realize how many anime feature characters at playgrounds alone, because there were still so many people around me. It felt like these scenes communicated the characters being at their weakest point, as if they were still a child. Now, I know I'm not forgetting the elephant in the room, locomotive. The thing this park is best known for is the large steam train in the middle of the park. I believe you could walk inside it, but I didn't dare try. I stayed outside the fence area like the rest of the Gujobu when they try to help their fellow members. Truly a beautiful location I recommend visiting, especially if you're a fan of Gujobu. Now, for something a bit unorthodox. Some may call me an actual tourist now for including this because it's not actually anime. But they had chibis in season 6, so it must be an anime. Thus, in season 12, episode 5 of Jet Lag the Game, Sam and Adam are trying to nail down Ben's location when they have to transfer trains in a certain station. As they dash across the breezeway, they run past billboards containing local idols. What blasphemy. It's worse than just being in the neighborhood. They ran right by them without even saying hello. They could have at least acknowledged them. I don't care if they had less than a minute transfer. Aqua needed to be recognized like I am doing right now. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, our next stop is the hometown of Love Live Sunshine, Numazu in Shizuoka. Our first spot is the station itself, which appears in the anime and promotional media. It is a central hub for the residents of both trains and buses serving the local area. Nearby is Nakamise Center, a shopping district in Numazu containing many stores and restaurants, even the Kinnikuman Museum. At this location, Aqua dances with other school members in the movie, Over the Rainbow. You could tell they truly wanted to showcase every spot in the city. Grandma, a quaint confectionery which Daya dances at its doors, the port gate that Mari and Yo break down at, and even the Riverside Hotel the first year's showcase. There were many locations to see, but I couldn't visit all of them. Speaking of Riverside, our next stop is outside the hotel by the Kano River. This area is where the girls experience their first sense of loss after traveling to Tokyo and console each other before reaffirming their resolve. It's a poignant moment that wasn't lost on me as I sat where they did and took in the scene for myself. Nearby is Agetsuchi Asahi Inari Shrine, a small temple dedicated to foxes right between two buildings. Yohane appears here many times when the girls chase her or she hides the puppy Laylaps. The Yohane love doesn't stop there as we travel to Numazu Burger, where the girls catch her shortly after running by. The cafe worships Yohane as you can see from the inside. I had their famous Numazu Burger and melon soda, which was delicious. I described it as a grilled McDouble from McDonald's. But here comes the unfortunate part. When I arrived at my hotel the next night, I read that Numazu Burger permanently shut down. I was literally there on its last day and had no knowledge about it. This is why anime tourism is important, because you never know when something will just disappear. Love Live revolves around saving schools from closing, so as the years go on, many more spots will shut down or even be demolished. Fans can show their support in many ways the establishments do themselves, as with Numazu Burger. However, we cannot let this bad news prevent us any further. I hopped on a Love Live Sunshine wrapped bus to travel to our next destination. After traveling an hour, I arrived at Uchiura. The stop is immediately outside the Minami no Ura Info Center, which houses many merch of Aqua inside and out. This appears in the opening shot of the first years in the movie, Over the Rainbow, paying respect to the local center. Then the girls run through the street immediately afterwards. However, our eyes turns towards the right as this is the inspiration for the Kurosawa household. Before coming here, I researched that this house is historical but residential, meaning people live here, so keep a safe distance from the house if you ever visit. I sat near the park in front of the center to get this footage, serving a reminder to always be respectful to the locations you visit. Funnily enough, just down the street from the house is a corner where the initial promo image of Ruby Kurosawa is taken from. It shows Ruby cowering in fear because of a little dog, which I relate with as I am not a dog person either, Ruby. The reason I find it funny, in a sad way, is that it is literal feet from her house, meaning poor Ruby isn't safe anywhere. A little ways down from this corner is a tunnel and intersection that appears in the first few seconds of Aqua's first single PV, placing the atmosphere of this new group with a bright sun on the horizon for them. And just through this tunnel is likely the most famous spot, the first teaser visual at Uchiura Bay and Mito Beach. Thousands of fans visit here every year, and I wasn't alone as there were 5 others nearby. So many people wrote Aqua in the sand that I had to partake in this moment as well. I did not think I would find myself in a monumental spot such as this. You can see the dock to my right where both Riko and Chika try to dive off of, and immediately behind is Chika's house, Yasudaya Ryokan. I could never imagine myself flying thousands of miles just to visit a city so dear and close to my heart. Thank you so much, Aqua. Next, we travel to the Kansai region, featuring the prefectures of Osaka, Hyogo, and Kyoto, a region cascading with history as the original capital of the country. What better way to feature this region than with a focus on a movie celebrating its vibrant culture? That's right! Love Live Nijigasaki School Idol Club Final Chapter Trilogy Part 2. Competing in the nationwide School Idol Grand Prix, half of the club travels to the area in the movie to find locations to perform their songs. Many of them appear as tourism advertisements, where they even have pilgrimage maps at various tourist and information centers. I got mine in Kobe, but when I visited Kyoto, I saw one for Sound Euphonium as well. So, if you travel to Japan, you can visit these to find one for yourselves if an event is being held. Additionally, I'll try not to spoil the film, but I will use shots from the trailer. The first segment of the triangle is Osaka, a bustling city with a nightlife scene. I travel to the neighborhood of Umeda. In the movie, the girls lounge around at Umekita Park after spending the day scouting. Later on, these shots of Mia running are in the same area. Something you may notice is this tall building in the background. That is Umeda Sky Garden, a 40-story observation deck above Osaka where you can view the city far and wide. At the top is where someone performs their song, or two. Plus, this is the same location as the teaser visual for the movie. Unfortunately, you can only see the starry sky pattern at night, and I went in the day so it would be less crowded. Onward to the next spot our girls visit is Namba, famous for the Dotonbori River where many shops and stalls line the riverside. In the movie, the girls visit Kukuri Takoyaki, a famous spot selling their namesake and feature a giant octopus sign above. There is no good photo of the scene, so here is one small image from the collaboration menu. Just a little ways down is a small rest area where the group sits, and then a fence that Rina leans over. And then behind that is the Muso building where Alan appears on top that the first teaser shows at the end, and my picture only got part of it. Of course, I cannot forget to mention the most famous part of Dotonbori, the Glico Running Man sign. It appears in the official movie poster in the back and makes several brief appearances in transition shots in the movie. But we aren't done with Namba as it contains a sacred shrine in the middle of the city, Namba Yasaka Shrine. It features a lion's head stage with its mouth open serving as the entrance. In the film, the girls visit here and features a very memeable moment with Rina. Time for a palate cleanser from Love Live. One of my first anime I ever saw was The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, and I fell in love with the medium ever since. So, I knew I had to at least visit the area when I traveled to Japan while also fulfilling a commenter's request. Red LW7XC, this is for you, but it may not be to your liking. Originally, I planned to visit the school setting of the series, Nishinomiya Kita High, but some things prevented that from happening. It was announced it would be closing at the end of the school year, and tickets to visit the location were put in a lottery, and I wasn't lucky enough to get one. Still, I knew I had to at least visit the hometown of Haruhi. Our first stop is North Kirauchi Station, where the SOS Brigade regularly meets up for outings in the city. Most infamously, they meet at this clock tower in the center of the square. As you can see, the area looks different from the anime, and that is because it received a renovation several years ago. Originally, a different clock tower was going to be put in, but due to fans banding together, they restored this monument as a sacred site. In the past, there was a plaque denoting the clock's history and the support of Haruhiism, but it wasn't there when I visited. A bit ways north of the station is Cafe Dream, another spot the characters have met together, notably in Endless 8 before each reset occurred. Now, the location changed a couple years ago, which is why the exterior is different from the anime, but it is still the same Cafe Dream with the same owners. I didn't take any photos inside as there were several people there, but I did order a breakfast plate and a melon cream soda. Fans visiting the spot said ordering one was a tribute to the series as it focused on it in the anime, with Nagato being the only one to remember. It was delicious and citrusy. The ice cream was thick, so I struggled to pick it up with the spoon and resorted to stirring it into the drink for a super creamy mix. Highly recommend. After my meal, I got the Haruhi clear file and trading card, which has the anime tourism branding I mentioned at the beginning of the video. I believe each spot on the list would have these collectibles somewhere for fans to buy. Maybe even add a local Animate. Correct. We're heading back to Animate, but this time in Suzumiya, a multi-floor shopping center with a myriad of stores. The one I visited was Animate on the second floor, where Setsuna geeks out about the latest release of her favorite light novel series, Flame Sword Princess. What is fun about this location is they have a pop-up theater to recreate the exact scene from the movie. I struggle to accurately recreate it myself, but I love when locations pay respects to anime like this. And a little further away on the second floor central area, there lies a Magellan clock. Setsuna stands in front of the clock at this moment from the director's cut trailer. The context of the scene is school idols are doing a karaoke live of school idol songs on a staircase, and the Nijigasaki concert group decided to join, where Setsuna affirms here. Also, the Magellan clock has my hometown of Seattle, so I had to share that bit. A short 20-minute walk from Suzumiya to the coast is the American Park, which houses many of Kobe's local attractions and iconography. Most of these appear in background shots in the Nijigasaki Final Chapter Part 2, as they rarely visit Kobe. First, we have the Kobe Maritime Museum, which appears behind Ai when performing her song. The unique shape of two ships crossing paths make it quite distinct. Nearby is the Oriental Hotel, as well as this awkward-shaped Starbucks. Both Setsuna and I appear on the cover of the Love Live Days magazine in front of the hotel shaped like a giant wave emerging from the ocean. But of course, what most people know about Kobe, besides its beef, is the Port of Kobe Tower, appearing as a rocket on the movie poster that Setsuna and I ride on. It's not just referenced as something to see because I performs at the very top of the tower. At least she was safe to dance it all out from the top with her friends nearby. Below the tower is a mall known as Harborland. I, Rina, and Shioriko sit at a table in front of Umie Mosaic. There were people here on a Wednesday night, so I had to snap this real quick because my appointment for our final location was arriving, which is the Kobe cruise ship Concerto. It appears in the movie where someone gets on it, not saying who though, but this clear file I have displays its appearance in animation. While I couldn't visit the exact areas the characters appeared on in the ship, since each floor is by ticket tier, I can show the breathtaking view of the port of Kobe that features many of the locations I just went over. I truly enjoy seeing Kobe embrace its mariner nature with the ocean theming alongside its bustling port, and truly reminds me of Seattle. And hey, would you look at that? They're sister cities. Hopefully the next city will be as amazing as this. When people think of Japan, while they know of Tokyo, most think of the original capital in the east, Kyoto. The rustic clay tiles rattling on roofs, open scenery filled with golden leaves, and Maiko dressed in kimonos walking through the tight alleys. I will visit these soon enough, but our first location is Kyoto Station. Once again, Love Live burns through where Setsuna performs her song at Kyoto Station. She specifically sings on the 4th floor of the market area with various shots around the station, but at the time I went, a stage was built so I had to take it from the 3rd floor. Maybe I missed Setsuna's spontaneous live show like she does in the film. Our next site is a bus stop away in the Gion district to visit Osaka Shrine, a Shinto temple dedicated to the god Susanoo. It is a local landmark with deep culture and heritage. It has appeared in many anime, with 2 examples I'm giving being Bucchigire and Galilei Donna. The shrine appears as a backdrop for the ending theme of Bucchigire as one of the featured locales, and the Ferrari sisters visit this location while taking a sightseeing trip in Galilei Donna. It's nice to see some scenes featuring other tourists, especially the big one, Hozuki herself. One scene features her excitedly greeting a Maiko in the streets, which is now banned in the Gion district due to foreigners bombarding them with cameras and taking photos without consent. Please, do not be like them, or even Hozuki herself. These people are not your props. The journey continues out the west gate to Yasaka Koshindo, a temple worshipping the 3 monkeys, see no evil, hear no evil, and speak no evil. A small area covered in colorful kukurizaru, or monkey talismans, that guests can write on after worshipping. It should be noted that many shrines say to pray before taking photos, and I made sure to do that each time at the ones I visited. Yasaka Koshindo appears in Nijigasaki Movie Part 2, where Setsuna and Shioriko take a selfie in front of it. The alley that connects to the temple is known as Ninenzaka, the most famous street of Kyoto that many tourists visit and show photos of. Without a doubt, the Kansai group in the movie visited here, but much less crowded. And, oh look! The second most famous Starbucks location is here. Or should I say, Better Bucks. The girls did go inside to take a break and sip some coffee, but it was too crowded for my liking. Of course, I cannot forget about Sanenzaka, the 3rd street district that features the Osaka Pagoda. Towering over Kyoto, it appears not only in Shioriko's song while she dances on the steps of Sanenzaka, but Bucchigire as well. The temple remains standing after surviving many disasters for centuries. This ties in nicely with the phoenix motif of Shioriko as a sense of rebirth. For Bucchigire, while it also serves as the background for the ending, it appears in the anime multiple times with its 5 stories and identifiable swording, an altar worshipping Buddhism with 9 rings symbolizing the paths of enlightenment. Now, straight down the road of Yasaka Shrine is Shujodori, or 4th Avenue, which houses our next locations. There is a busy intersection known as Kawarimachi Crossing, which appears as a panning shot in Galilei Donna. I tried to recreate it as best as I could, but they had to have taken it from the middle of the road. Then there is Shujodori, which crosses over the Kamo River. When Hazuki was attempting to reunite with her sisters after struggling with their trip, Chichino comes here to take her away on this bridge. They had a long discussion before Hazuki cheered up and they went their separate ways. I enjoyed the ducks molded onto the fence, making you feel like you can fly free, especially over the Kamo River with many aquatic birds floating nearby. Personally, my favorite spot of the trip in Kyoto is the Kamo River, Literally meaning Duck River, the Kamo River is a scenic vista where people and nature gather together. Many locals and tourists were biking, walking, and relaxing on the side of the river. It should be of no surprise that the characters of Galilei, Donna, and Bucchigire do the same. Sisters strolling along the riverside with delicious snacks, and brothers repairing the in-play city from the source of all life. A truly memorable experience and a place I highly recommend people visit if they come to Kyoto. Also, this river is the birthplace of kabuki theater. Just thought I would add that fact. Further north up the river are bridges named after each street, but our focus is on the next one, Sanjo Bridge. A well-traveled bridge marking the end of two routes in ancient Japan, which would later become the names of rail lines. However, it still features a famous mark on its giboshi, the topping of a bridge pillar I photographed here, where a samurai sword slashed it during the Ikedaya incident. If you recognize that name, it is because it was featured in my Bucchigire video where I go into detail there. Meaning our final stop in Kyoto is the location of the incident itself. Izakaya Ikedaya. No longer an old inn, a restaurant chain houses a plaque and interactive exhibit recounting the events of the night. Unfortunately, when I went in, no one responded to my call. However, I heard noises from below and above me, and I am warning you of this jump scare I had. Yep, a mannequin in Shinsengumi attire staring over the railing. I hope whoever watched the security camera enjoyed that footage. Regardless, I find this intriguing that whether it be in anime or real life, both tried to recreate something from the past as accurately as they could detailed from the events of that night. Even though what was there is now gone, those events still transpired where I stood and made me appreciative of the past. All of it feels like a time capsule. When background artists illustrate depictions of physical locations, those are but one moment in history. It may change when you visit, or be non-existent. Some of the locations have added or removed things, or closed down entirely. I mean, many anime series deal with the passage of time. That might be why the school idols of Muse and Aqua try to save their schools, so they don't lose their memories of them. Nothing is forever. People will rebuild the city like in Bucchigire, but it won't be the same. And no series best demonstrates that than the final location we are visiting. Welcome, everyone, to our final destination, the coastal city of Susami in Wakayama Prefecture, better known as the inspiration for Sakura no Mori and Myself Yourself. Ever since I dreamed of traveling to Japan, I knew I wanted to visit Akihabara in Tokyo, but I always knew that the first time I came here, I just had to visit Susami. I remember reading a news article about anime pilgrimages on a map website, and then searching up Myself Yourself where it featured the station, and I always had it in the back of my mind to visit. For the longest time, Myself Yourself was my favorite anime ever, and I still hold it in high regard. Now, almost 20 years later, I am here at its inspiration. This is Susami Station, where Sana stepped off in the first episode and noticed the changes of his hometown, where it became more urbanized, focusing on how things change over time. Now, what he sees isn't quite what we see here when leaving the station. It's quite strange considering this town is the first one to use hiragana for its town name, where most before it used kanji. It only became more of a recent trend that people started using hiragana for their names, so it can be seen as moving into the future, which may be a reason that the city was picked as a setting for the series about change. Down this road leads to Susami Bay, which was once called Inazumi Bay, a precursor to the town's old name, which includes Inazumi Island, built with a shrine housing Benzai 10 to bring good fortune to the fishing industry the town relies on. The beach doesn't appear in the anime, but you can still see scenes of it from the visual novel, even though new buildings have been constructed since. Something I have to point out is that there were so many dragonflies in this area. I've never seen so many before. Even though the beach makes it seem like a tropical paradise, we are still in a rural area. We reverse track and head back towards the train station to arrive at the railroad crossing where Aoi saw the characters off. Obviously, they have since added a highway in the background, but it is the exact spot our characters stood. Then a little ways down the road along the river is Susami Oji Shrine, and why Susami isn't exactly a replica of Sakura no Mori. This is the closest shrine for miles to serve the Susami community, and isn't quite the basis for Yachishira's shrine in the series. Fans still consider this an honorary pilgrimage spot due to the importance of the shrine in the anime. There are other spots that don't appear in Susami, like Sana's house or the nature park, as Susami is quite small. I would compare it to the Tuaru series, where many locations in the anime are from Tachikawa, but is set in the fictional Academy City. I can best showcase this with our next spot across the Taima River with the location of the Red Mailbox. It serves as a pivotal plot point regarding Sana and Nanaka's relationship, but as you can see here, it is an empty lot and not rich rice fields. Again, they took some liberties by adding things to make it the series' hometown. While there isn't a mailbox here, there is one out in the ocean. Susami holds the world record for the deepest location of a mailbox that is still used to this day. Plus, you can see the inspiration for the twin sister hills in the background. The one on the left would be Younger Sister Hill, covered in vibrant pink cherry blossoms featuring the school. And the one on the right is Elder Sister Hill, containing Yachishira's shrine. From my research, it seems both are just hills of small shrines like this one nearby. Funny enough, when I took this photo, a woman on a bike yelled "Konnichiwa" to me, but when I turned around, she clocked me instantly as a foreigner and said, "Oh, hello," as she rode by. I bowed slightly in respect because that's what I've read you should do. But reading about how Japanese people behave similar to the Seattle Freeze, I was not expecting this much friendliness. Moving on, there are rice fields in Susami, but they are behind what would be Elder Sister Hill, and you have to go through the tunnel underneath it. On the other side, I was amazed at these tall trees going all the way up. It reminded me of the scene of Sana and Asami unknowingly burying Po, while Nanaka saw them together on the hill. It truly felt like they were inspired by this location, even in the scenes that don't directly correspond to an exact match. Around the bend is a street sprawling with rice fields, which we see when Sana comforts Nanaka and Hinako. It felt like a moment where two characters bridge each other's emotional gap, especially considering it seems as a way to connect both hills of each sister. The lore comparisons don't stop there, as I saw a flyer at the station about the importance of Yatagarasu to the area, which resonates with the crow theme around Nanaka. For context, the younger sister murdered the elder sister, and in retribution, the elder sister turned the younger sister into a crow. Overall, I enjoyed my trip to Susami, but it didn't live up to the magic I thought it would. While I showed you the exact spots featured in the anime, you don't get to see the other side of it. Many of the houses were run down and worn out, and many businesses are only open for 3 hours a day, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. It truly is a rural area with only one train connecting them, and now a new highway. I felt awful seeing the condition it was in and left earlier than expected because of how small the town actually was. I did stop at the station coffee shop and got a Susami cream soda featuring a cute panda cookie. I was surprised how many pandas are decorating the station, to learn why moments later when my train arrived with a panda face on it. So cute! Pandas are my favorite animal, and I felt like this was a reassuring message from my mom. Now, the reason pandas are featured everywhere is because they're the main attraction of Wakayama's adventure world. Or were, because China has taken away all of Japan's pandas due to loan schedules not being renewed as a result of growing political tensions. One final remark is Susami has its own character, Susami Ibu. Truly reminds me of the 2000s where everything had its own character. Check out KYDB videos for that information. At the end of the day, why anime tourism? Obviously, many communities garner support from fans to visit featured locations, but it is more than that. Like with me climbing the same stairs as Muse or drawing aqua in the sand, it is an experience. People fly from different countries to recreate their favorite moments or dwell on them at these locations. Not only that, they serve as a time capsule for generations to come. Parents can now show their children how monuments looked in the past that may be forgotten, just like with Numazu Burger, or even the streets in the series set centuries before, such as Bucchigire, or how they may appear in the future in the case of Galilei Donna. So, if you go on a pilgrimage like me, pay respects to these locations of your favorite series, and forever cherish the experience, because those moments may not last forever.